Why do avoidance pull away? This is not going to be the normal shitty advice that you see all over the internet that is actually keeping you stuck in these anxious spirals of attracting avoidance and then unconsciously sabotaging it by pushing them away with anxious energy. This is going to be something very different, but trust me, if you understand this, this will change your life just the way that it did change my life. I scored 10 out of 10 on the childhood trauma test. I experienced so much trauma and dysfunction as a child that I was heavily anxious attachment style as an adult in all of my relationships. And I kept attracting avoidance and they kept pulling away from me over and over again, which was sparking my abandonment wound again. That little girl inside of me that felt abandoned by her parents, her caregivers, was literally being abandoned over and over and over again in my relationships. However, I was able to stop this. And now I have helped so many people do the same thing too. And this is why I'm here today. So what I'm about to teach you is not the normal advice of avoidance did this to me. The reason why I don't teach that stuff is because it keeps you focused on being the victim. This person did this to me. And trust me, I was there too. I was exactly the same way, desperately Googling, like, why did avoidant do this? Why did they do that? Desperately looking for the answers, but all that was doing was keeping me self-abandoning myself, which was making me more and more anxious. So I'm not going to teach you the clickbait stuff that people teach you because it's just keeping you stuck in that pattern. But what I'm actually going to do is teach you how you shift it for real so that you do not keep attracting avoidance. You do not keep abandoning yourself to keep them, because that is what's happening there. First of all, the reason why you're attracting avoidance is because you're avoiding yourself. Yes. As an anxious attachment style, as a child, what you have learned is that your needs do not matter and that you must people please and perform and prove yourself and fix and save other people. So your focus is completely on them all the time because you've learned that in childhood. That would have been your survival mechanism in childhood, just as it was for me, to literally whatever it was, whether you learned to, caretake for your parent, whether it learned to manage the parent's mood, or maybe you just didn't feel quite seen in your family home, or you felt like you had to be the good girl, the good guy, or you had to just, maybe it was focused more on education. There are so many different ways, but ultimately your needs were not met. And you learn that I must surrender my needs for other people. So what you do is you go into relationships and you abandon yourself completely. You avoid yourself completely, and it's not working for you, because when you do that, the world is a mirror. Everything is a mirror. Your subconscious beliefs are creating your experiences. It's manifesting your experiences. This is why I'm going to show you from a person that's, experienced a dysfunction and trauma and has an anxious mind or had an anxious mind, how you can shift that for yourself so that you stop creating these patterns over again. You stop actually manifesting more trauma for yourself because you're carrying the story forward from your past, from your childhood, and it's carrying through in your relationships. It happened to me over and over again. I just kept getting relationships that literally mirrored my childhood dynamics over and over again. That's because my subconscious beliefs were the same. It is the same with the avoidant that pulls away. If you have an abandonment wound, if you get any kind of anxiety or anything when they don't text back so quick, or you're waiting for them to pull away, or any of that kind of feeling in you, then you have an abandonment wound. And what you are doing is manifesting abandonment because you're abandoning yourself first, and they have no choice but to mirror that and abandon you. You are literally putting all of your focus onto them. You're obsessed with them. And I know, because I've been there, you are literally obsessed with them. Like at first, maybe you meet them and they seem secure, right? They seem fine. You're like, oh my God, I haven't met another avoidant. Yay. But really what it is because your focus is on you at that point. They're pursuing you and everything is good. And then suddenly you start to get attached. And when you get attached, your fear of abandonment kicks in. So you start looking for clues that they're going to abandon you. Be honest with yourself here, because I promise you, if you can see this mirror and you can see how it really works, you have all the power to change it. So reading all the IG carousels about, how to text them so that they come chasing you is not going to work. This is what works. I promise you. And I'm speaking from experience. Not only for myself, but all my clients that have now done this from this learning. So you start off magnetic, and then you start looking for clues that they're leaving you. You know, perhaps something's got a bit vulnerable for you, you know, you're suddenly liking them, you're building up feelings, right? And so maybe you've been intimate with them and it's triggered the vulnerability for you. Maybe you've shared something with them. Maybe you've spent a bit more time with them. Whatever it is, something has clicked in for you. And suddenly what you're doing now is looking for clues that they are going to lose interest. They're going to stop texting you so much. Maybe they don't want you so much, or maybe they're not doing the same things. Maybe they haven't asked you on that day, and you're sitting there thinking and saying to your friend, they haven't asked me on this day. They're texting me this stuff, but they haven't asked me on this day. Or they didn't send you the good morning message. They haven't sent me the good morning message. You are focusing on and assuming the worst. You are focusing on what you don't want, and it has no choice but to manifest. It is energy, literally. So you are focusing on what you don't want. Why haven't they texted me? You are going to get that mirrored back to you. They're not going to text you because they don't have a choice, because it's energy. What you focus on grows. It's true. And so what you're doing, there's something called the law of assumption. Whatever you assume to be true is true. So you're assuming they're losing interest. You're looking for clues for it. And so you're going to experience that with your energy. You are subtly pushing them away without realizing it. And believe me, I did this time and time again until I realized that this is what was happening. And I know that some of you are going to go, yeah, but they were avoidant, you know, that they were doing that. No, avoidance are a form of beliefs. They have subconscious beliefs, you have subconscious beliefs, but all they are doing, the way that they interact with you and treat you, is just a mirror to your wounds, to your beliefs. So if you change your beliefs from, oh my God, people always leave me, they're avoidant, because that's the story you're playing out right now. People lose interest, people don't want commitment with me, men are shit, women are shit, I always attract avoidance. That is literally the story you're writing. Think of yourself as like you're in a movie, you're writing a character for that movie, and this is you. And that's the story you're giving them. It has no choice but to play out like that. It is that simple. And I know it sounds crazy because it's like, this is not what we're taught, but this is exactly what's happening. So what you do is you can change the story. People don't leave me. I'm chosen. I'm wanted. I never attract avoiders. And you stop looking for the clues that they're losing interest. And instead you start to, because you're embodying that version of you that's always chosen, that always gets secure people, because you're secure in yourself now, you will start getting that reflected back to you. You will start to assume that, and it will start getting mirrored back to you. That is exactly how it works. So they pull away because you are literally looking for clues. You're telling a story that they're avoidant and they're pulling away from you. You're going to your friends, you're reiterating that story over and over and over again. You're telling yourself in your mind over and over again. I know with an anxious mind, you're obsessed about it. You can't stop looking at clues, looking at the messages, looking for ways, reasons that to prove your assumptions correct. Your mind, your subconscious mind has no choice but to prove you correct. So if you tell it, they're leaving me, they're losing interest, they don't like me anymore, you will literally get that mirrored back to you. Your subconscious mind has no choice but to show you that. As the same way that if you tell it, no, that of course they're not losing interest, they want me, they like me, it's going to change. It's going to change the story. So that is why it's so important that once you start to reprogram those beliefs, you will naturally start to have those new assumptions. You will naturally start to change the perspective of what you're looking at and what you're experiencing. And it will start to play out that way. They will stop pulling away from you. You will stop attracting people that appear to be avoidant because you are no longer avoiding you. You start telling your truth. When you believe your needs matter, you're not going to be walking on eggshells, not afraid to say anything to them because they're avoidant. You're going to stand in your power and they will reflect that back. You're not going to keep attracting people that are not ready for you, but you have to convince them. No. If you believe you're chosen, you're not convincing anyone anymore. And within that, you're not avoiding yourself again. All of the ways that you're avoiding, or the way that when you believe you're the prize and you're it, like you're always chosen, your self-worth is high, they have no choice but to choose you. You're not going to be like, oh my God, they didn't send me a good morning message, they've lost interest. When you believe love is safe for me and they're not leaving you because no one leaves you, when you've changed the story of you, your identity, not from the one you had in childhood, and that doesn't take away from your experiences. Believe me, I know how painful that is, but it means that you get to change the story. What people don't realize, and what I didn't for a really long time, is that you are carrying your story from literally little you from what you experienced as a child, you are carrying it in like a big bag into your relationships over and over and over again. And you are creating more of it over and over and over again because your subconscious beliefs are just playing out. So the good thing is the way that you learn that is the way that you can unlearn it. You can unlearn that story. You can start telling a different story. You can start feeding your mind a different story, and it will change the outcome of what you experience. It will change the people you attract. It will change the way that they treat you. And trust me, I've done it. I've been there. I've got the t-shirt. This works. That is the key. Sitting there thinking about how to make them chase you, reading those things, I'm just going to text them this and they're going to want me more, or they're not going to pull away, all those things, it doesn't work. I know because I've been there. It doesn't work. And I tell you why it doesn't work, because you are focusing on them. You are still trying to get them to do something to you instead of bringing it back to you. When you bring it back to you, when you bring your energy back to you and you stop self-abandoning and you sit in your power of no one avoids me because I'm not avoiding me anymore. I am loved, I am chosen, I am wanted, I am all of these things. Even if you don't believe it at first, because I get it, I didn't believe it at first as well because my experience had been so opposite, but you are choosing to bring that story forward. So you have to start telling a different story. Even if you don't believe it, you're creating new neural pathways that are going to change your story for you. So you need to stay and persist in the story that you want, that of course they're not pulling away from you because you're always chosen, because love is so safe for you to keep telling that story over and over again, and you will start getting that reflected. That is why, because you are shifting from secure energy to anxious energy and abandon yourself, and they have no choice but to abandon you too and pull away. And you are literally assuming it. You are literally creating it and looking for the clues. Now, when you break this cycle, they will have no choice but to reflect that back to you and not pull away. Trust me, this happens. I hope that was helpful for you. I know that this is difficult. This is not the normal, but I promise you, there is a part of you right now that is like, that makes sense. I think she might be right. Listen to that, because I promise you, if you understand this, this will change your whole entire life if you understand how this works. Hit subscribe. I'm going to tell you so much more. All the information I have from someone that went from so anxious, so traumatized, so toxic relationships, to securing myself, being able to share that and teach so many other people, and also to have secure relationships to myself that are so healthy, where no one pulls away from me. It does not happen because of this. This is what I'm teaching you. So hit subscribe and let me know what lands in the comments, and I will see you again soon.